Okay, a bit of a weird situation at the end of the Buccaneers-Lions game. So here's the situation. The broadcast actually missed the first kneel down, but the first kneel down happens with a minute and 31 seconds left. And Tampa Bay has a timeout. So, for all of us math fans out there, okay, that's, one timeout and then 120 seconds. That would leave an 11-second buffer for Detroit, which they probably would be able to kill off, right? I mean, they could, run around in the pocket and throw one down the field and probably kill off that 11 seconds. We've seen that happen all the time. Now, for me personally, I would probably still sit here and say that's worth it. That's worth calling a timeout for, even though it's almost certain that they would be able to kill off the clock. Who knows? Maybe there's a fumbled snap return for a touchdown, right? Highly unlikely, but it's the playoffs. It's still worth, doesn't give you any good to have the timeout next year, right? So might as well spend it. But also, when I stopped watching this game, I saw some people on Twitter complaining about the timeout thing, and I was kind of like, whatever. Yes, it's probably worth it to call a timeout, but Todd Bowles decided not to. Okay, whatever. Not a big deal. Wouldn't have really impacted the game. What I didn't realize until later was what happened after this point. So going forward to here, this is now the final kneel down, and you're going to see Jared Goff, when he takes the knee, there's still 36 seconds left. They took both knees with about 15 seconds left on the play clock. So instead of having a great situation where all you have to do is run around and throw a ball down the field, there was time left, and Tampa Bay still has their timeout. Todd Bowles, after the game, said, yeah, I had a timeout, but, I didn't think it'd be worth it for just, 12 seconds left. They had their field goal lined up, whatever. It seemed like, I don't know if he realized that the Lions rushed this a bit too much, and there was some time left. Now, the Lions could have made a 47-yard field goal, which, again, probably they make, and even if they miss it, Tampa Bay still would have had to go a pretty long ways and would have had probably a little under 30 seconds to do so. Not just that, but they would have had to go for two, and, if they got the touchdown, and then they would have had to win the game in overtime. I mean, we're saying that, I think even if Tampa Bay calls a timeout, they're looking at, a 1%, 2% chance to win the game at this point. But for Todd Bowles, why throw that away? Why not give your team a chance here? It kind of felt like waving the white flag. Even calling a timeout, earlier, I kind of still like it just in general. But I'm sorry, I think he just didn't realize what happened here. I think he just didn't fully realize that there was still 36 seconds left, and I think he got caught up in the moment. That's what had to have happened, which is a massive mistake. I mean, again, I think Detroit completely screwed this up. Dan Campbell has to talk to Goff, make sure that, hey, let's take it down to 1 second on these plays. Let's not be, hurrying up. I know we want to celebrate, but let's make sure we get to the finish line. But while it was a bad job on the Lions there, it was an even worse job on Todd Bowles not making them pay, in my opinion. And again, more than likely, the Lions almost certainly still would have won. But it's just, I think, for me, it's just kind of a mindset thing. And why would Todd Bowles not call a timeout here? Doesn't make any sense.